All right. Let's take a look at the next scenario here.
Warning.
Oh, it gets a little bit more complicated. So these are going to have metals with multiple charges. Now what's nice is the Roman numeral tells you the charge. So this one would be iron. And it saying 3 means it's a 3+. Acetate is a polyatomic, C2H3O2, with its 1-. So the 1 comes down here, the 3 comes down here. Now you might say, well, it's got all these other numbers over there, so what's that going to be? Well, Fe, add only 1, and because we have a polyatomic, we need to put it in parentheses. So we got C2H3O2, that's acetate, and that 3, that was the charge of iron, goes on the outside, kind of like when you have in math a 3 outside the parentheses. It like applies to everything inside, but we don't distribute it. Over here we've got cobalt 2 sulfide, so cobalt 2, that's what that's telling us. Sulfide is sulfur with its 2-. When you have the same number, you're going to have one of each. So CO and S, because these always have 0 charge, so they need to be equal and opposite. Indium, In, tells you it's a 1+ charge. Hydroxide, OH, that is a polyatomic ion with its 1- charge. Equal and opposite, 1+, 1-. So I'll write it over here so I can try and be a little clearer. Apologies for the handwriting. INOH. And make sure you have the things that are capitals, lowercase n, capital O, capital H. And then finally vanadium 5, so vanadium 5, and bromine, bromide, that's our 1-. So the 5 comes down here, we just have 1 over here, so our correct chemical formula, VBr5. A little better B. Alright. Now we're going to look at scenario 3. Might be a little simpler in your opinion, but there seems to be more rules. So read through the rules, seeing we're going on. But this has no metals with multiple charges, and we're going from the formula to the name. So we start over here with barium, because that's barium. M, let's write down there. And then Cn, I see that this has multiple, it's more than just one element, so it's got to be a polyatomic. I look it up, and, right, cyanide, because that's what it is on the back of our reference sheet. So when you have more than 2 elements, there's going to be a polyatomic ion involved. Magnesium, how about Ma, magnesium? And then I see this is just one element, phosphorus. So that needs to end in IDE. And this one's a little irregular, that's why I'm giving it to you, phosphide. I thought for the longest time it was phosphoride, but nope, I looked up phosphide. And we continue, so aluminum. Aluminum. And PO4, I see again another set of a polyatomic. So I just look it up on the back and copy down the name, phosphate. Last but not least, lithium is where we start off with, Li. And chlorine becomes chloride. I think this section is the simplest for most students because you don't have to remember the ions and their charges. You look it up, you use the names on the periodic table, and that's where it's the simplest. The last scenario is going to be the most challenging, so let's see where it goes from there.